I just use Jean's.
Slides?
Well, it's a word.
Oh, word.
Actually, well, I put these pictures in. She didn't have pictures, so I put
You added in?
Yeah. Okay. So this is the Immortal of Purification. Well, she was a transmitting master. Okay, so she was. Well, first, I want to thank the grace of heaven and the virtues of the masters, the grand predecessor and predecessors, for this opportunity to introduce you to this our a predecessor, I guess, of someone who's come before us, who's a leader in our temple as one of the transmitting masters. Okay, so here. Okay, so she was born in 1936, August 13th. Her name is Yu, surname, last name is Yu. Okay, Wen Min. Okay, so Wen. Okay, I don't know if she did this, but basically, it's cultured or gentle, and then Min is very smart, and okay, so I don't know. I guess back then the Chinese, they have this courtesy name. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if there's an English equivalent to something like that, but
Establishing wisdom.
but anyways, yeah. So it's just, yeah. I guess I don't know how she got that name, but the establishing wisdom or something. Okay, so obviously, so I was born in China during 36, right? That was during the well, I don't know. Was
the start of World War II.
Yeah, it was
right before.
just before. Okay, so because
it's not even World War II.
Not
it's
yet.
Really the conflict with Japan.
Japan, yeah, the Sino
aggression in Manchuria.
Yeah, right. Japanese War. Okay, so that's it's a chaotic time, war-torn country. She is the family of. I mean, there were 6 children, so she's one of the 6. She's the oldest. Right? She's the oldest, right? 3 brothers, 2 sisters. Later on, 2 of the brothers become transmitters as well. Actually, one of them became transmitter first, and then she and the other youngest brother became transmitter later on. Okay, and then 2 sisters who are also lecturers. Okay, in the Tao.
Temple masters too.
Yeah, they have their own temples as well. Family temples. Okay, and she in 1946. 46. So 10 years later, they moved to Taiwan. Okay. Now, of course, they didn't encounter the Tao in China. It was after going to Taiwan. I don't know when she well, let's see. She probably got the Tao probably in 1960 or 61, maybe.
Yeah, 62, 61, 62.
He's probably 61. Yeah, probably around 61. Okay. Okay. So now her mother is lecturer John. She was also a lecturer. Okay. This the mother. Okay, and that's her. These are other. Well, this is another transmitter. And then this is a lecturer. Chu. Right. She comes during the Dharma class, but right now it's not convenient for her to walk. So as well. But okay, so her mother, Lecturer Zhang, was very knowledgeable. She learned a lot with the 4 books, Confucius 4 books, classics. She learned with our predecessor, the true sage of great virtue. Okay, but she passed away in 2001. Okay, so it's after 9/11. It was in November, and later we did one of these handwriting reunion or communions that we found out that she got given a title, Deming Daxian, which is the immortal bright virtue, right? Okay, it's kind of like mixed the timing, but anyways, okay. So 1955, she was married to senior transmitter Jin. Okay, so there's a very young picture here. 3 sons. Okay, Lecturer Kai, transmitter Ray, who's currently in California. He'll be coming back this month, I guess. And me. Okay. Yeah. So she was very hers, I mean, no one's perfect, but she was definitely, humble, and very, as you'll see later on. But she's elegant, gentle, refined, simple, right? Her style, she's not very fancy, right? She lives, the clothes she wears pretty simple and all that. You can say a very noble, virtuous. Now she's very, I think I would say she has wisdom, right? She will consider things. I mean, a lot of times when people are given criticism or, advice that maybe they aren't willing to accept it, they get angry, right? But she will listen and think it over, and then she'll. So that's why I say she has that wisdom, and she doesn't have that temperament to really get angry that much. In 1962 is when she got the Tao, received the Tao by, there was this teacher, Zhang, who later, then that person passed away and became immortal of vast compassion, okay? So, so in 62, all right, so 74 finally came to the U.S., the whole family. Actually, it's not the family who took the vows, but basically Senior Transmitter Jin and Transmitter Yi, they had taken vows. They attended Dharma class in Taiwan, and then they had taken vows to propagate, to pioneer the Tao, okay? So then it came to the U.S. So this is the temple Tongren in New Jersey in Teaneck. Others family. Okay. Let's see. She's obviously, before she became a transmitter, she was a lecturer, right? She was lecturing, but in the temple downstairs. Before this temple, there was another temple, Tongda. Actually, okay. I don't have the picture here, but there was Tongda temple that went through various moved around. And there was initially, it was in an apartment in where was that place? Oh, it's Starrett City. That's part of in Queens, I guess.
Yeah,
somewhere.
in Queens.
Yeah. There was an apartment complex, and it's an apartment. That's where it kind of got established first, and it got moved to in Flushing, here in a house. And then finally, before we had this place here, okay. And then finally, she, after all those years here, now this temple, it used to be there was a restaurant, right? Downstairs, and then in the back, they kind of used it for the temple, okay, at the back of the restaurant. And in 2002 is when they started, they did kind of groundbreaking to build up this place, okay. But she, 2000, but she passed away in 2003 before this was completed, right? So this was completed in 2004, but she was kind of, at that point, she was responsible for the temple here. All right. So you notice the date here, August 14th, she passed away. Her birthday was August 13th. So after she turned 36 to 67. Okay. The day after, right? She turned 11. Okay. So basically, she had developed. She had a cancer. It's like it's in an odd location. It's like the bile duct. That's where it appeared, anyways, on the bile duct. These are what she wrote at, this was, so basically that very early morning, right, 2:45 a.m. on that, before she passed, I was there with her in the hospital, and so she wanted to write something. Now that she was, she had tubes going in, and so she can't speak, but she can only write. So I gave her a piece of paper. She wanted to write something. So basically, in Chinese, I forgot the order. I think maybe she wrote this 老师在等 and then 回到家. Okay, so basically, Holy Teacher is waiting for her to return back to heaven. Okay, so Holy Teacher is waiting to take her back, and to to call senior transmitter Jin, because he is in New Jersey. Okay, now, my Chinese back then was not very good. I couldn't kind of make out some of these words. I mean, I understood what Lao Tzu, that Holy Teacher, okay. And so I told her that, well, it's that late, and Transmitter Jin's in New Jersey, I'll let him know later in the morning, or later, that day. But, it turns out that around, I don't know, in the morning, probably around 10 o'clock in the morning, it was around 10 o'clock in the morning, that another Daokin went to see her in the hospital, and the doctor said, basically, her heart is failing. And so she called, let me know, and then so Kai was, we were at that old Tonda temple, and I told Kai to go to the hospital, and to check, see what her condition is. And then so basically, I think by the time I got there, I think she passed already. Right, so it was around 10 or 11 in the morning. And then, of course, I don't know if you remember, later that day in the afternoon, there was the big blackout.
Yeah.
In this whole Northeast.
For several days.
That lasted for several days. Okay, so that's kind of like I don't know, sometimes there's like these sign, someone, a virtue or someone great who has passed, and then there's this big thing that happens. Okay, all right. So in the following year, right, so that was 2003 August. Following year, we had that reunion. Okay, so we're trying to finish the temple. July 2nd officially, or July 1st, that day was the first day we used this temple. It was completed. I mean, we were working, the night before, trying to finish everything up. So that morning was the dedication ceremony. So that's a picture from that time, 2004, right? And then later in the afternoon, we had that reunion ceremony. And then that's when we find out she was given this title, right? 净化大仙, the Immortal of Purification. Okay. Right. And so in that scripture, basically it was Holy Teacher, Jigong Buddha, who came and in a sense brought her, spirit brought her here. And Jigong Buddha, wrote some words here, basically, to purify the heart and mind is truly, is this Jigong? I think this is actually her script, not Holy Teacher. This is what she wrote, or what she, basically, to purify the heart and mind is truly difficult. Concentrate on transferring the chi while holding to the center. Right? That center, right, is very important. I think I mentioned that, and it was mentioned in that other class on the Answers to Truth. Right, that center and harmony. Right, the center is that essence, the inside. Basically, it's that doctrine and the mean. All these things, they're all talking about that center. Okay.
Well, it has many meanings.
Yeah,
that one, could represent our Buddha nature, that center, that unperturbed, unchanging essence. You can say that.
Right.
Or that. So there are many levels.
Yeah.
That oneness. You can say that too.
Right. So transferring the chi also, the internal. I mean, obviously, it's one aspect would be like getting rid of our bad temperament, things like that,
That's the very
change our
level.
disposition. Of course, then the internal chi, we all have that chi, within. We can also try to, there's like different types of things, like type of breathing type of exercise that kind of reverse the chi, right? Things like that. But anyways, it's kind of like this energy. Okay, so and establish great aspiration and unwavering heart, right? So basically, now that we received the Tao, we learn about the Tao, we learn, what Buddha achieved as parinirvana. We can all aspire to that same goal, right? And so we do it until the very end, to our last breath, right? We don't give up. And she's encountered many hardships during her time as a transmitting master, dealing with all sorts of different problems and people, right? So it wasn't easy, but you can't give up, right? If we want to become a Buddha, we cannot give up on that, right? And ultimately to become enlightened and immortal and return to absolute heaven. Okay, so. But Holy Teacher then composed the song, okay, using the melody Westlake Spring. This song, okay, which is the words are here. It says, as humble as the willow, nurtures like a breeze, right? So what she would basically, she was always very humble, and then she would teach, and nurture the Tao Kin, okay, magnificent as the morning sun. Right, fresh as morning dew, nourishing sentient beings, lovely as the lotus blooms. Right, so that's you can say how lovely a person is. I mean, it's basically their heart, their virtues. Okay, and divine music playing, welcome saints return. So obviously in heaven there are many Buddhas and saints. It's like welcoming one of their own back to heaven. Okay. Accompanied by divine beings, title joyfully conferred by God, and return home, vows fulfilled. Okay, so basically, basically everyone, we all have vows. We all made vows. Okay, whether it's previously or now, we've made vows that we need to fulfill them. We have to fulfill our vows in order to return to heaven, or in order to stay in heaven, okay? So if we haven't fulfilled our vows and we go back, maybe we can go back, but it's temporary. We have to come back to complete the vows. So that's very important, right? So that's why we always encourage, try to do more. We learn more, we do more, perform good deeds, perform merits, okay? To fill our vows. Okay, so those are external. Of course, the internal aspects, again, transforming the inside, nurturing our virtues, getting rid of our bad temper, changing our disposition, to be more harmonious. Okay, so that is basically that's kind of a brief summary of her life. Here. Back then, okay, so during the years that she was kind of in charge over here, there were some problems sometimes, differences, you can say, differences among the various transmitters, okay, and maybe a couple other people. And so having to deal with all those in a kind of harmonious way, she rarely get angry. I'd never really seen her get angry in the temple. Right? I don't know. Johnny's been around during that time too, and you probably haven't never seen that, right?
That's the common factor.
She's probably the one trying to bring harmony to the group, whereas other people are kind of arguing or whatever. Let's see, what else? I don't know. It's important to learn about and learn from those who have virtue, who've come before us, because without them, obviously today we have this big temple, but really if she hadn't done what was necessary, this wouldn't have happened, right? She basically encouraged Lena, who she's also transmitter Lowell now, but at the time she owned the restaurant, and so encouraged her I think in the beginning, to tell her to open a vegetarian restaurant, because that way you can basically establish good affinity with people. And it's not having a restaurant that sells meat and stuff is you're establishing bad karma, right? So she encouraged her, and kind of and through a lot of her encouragement and advice and teaching, so they eventually decided that they can, so that's how come they let the back of the restaurant be used as the temple, and then later on they kind of were inspired to build up this building and have this second floor where we can have used as a temple. Okay. All right. So I don't know, Johnny. Do you have any kind of things that you want to comments about?
Well, one of the things that I can always remember about her is that she, like one particular day, we were getting ready for the dance class, and we all came in to clean the temple, and so I got taken up with the work trying to finish, and she was just coming over and saying, "Stop working and come and get something to eat." I say, "Okay, right now." And I didn't stop. I kept going, because when you're working and you have like a flow, you don't want to stop. And she kept coming over, and she came over another time and said thing, and I don't remember if it's Jean or someone else. I think who was here, or some other. I think a visitor came over, and they just looked at me, and then I realized that I was sort of disobeying the transmitter. And I stopped the work and went over and sat down to eat. And after when I got there, you could see that she's such a humble person. I could see, I could remember, there was a little smile on her face, because everybody else was eating and I was the only one working. So she was something special. So yes, I should say that.
Yeah, so she's very considerate of others, I guess, so, there are a lot of, their qualities, their virtues that we definitely want to learn from. Holy Teacher always tells us to look at the people's, we always find faults in other people, but we look at their good side and see their virtues and see the good aspects, and we learn from those, and we try to, pick up from those. Yeah. Rather than focusing on negative things, right? Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So this is just a brief. We were supposed to do this in August because the anniversary was in August, but okay. So I'm sure I missed some details and stuff like that, but. If I had said anything wrong, I asked the Buddhist for forgiveness, and the Immortal of Purification for forgiveness, and also any corrections. Thank you.